some tough acts to follow. Good to see Bill Diamond, a good friend of mine in the State Senate. It is an honor to be here today to celebrate and induct a great friend of mine for over 52 years. I'm Dave Woodsome. I taught 29 years at Fryeburg Academy and did a little coaching. 52 years ago, this past August, 1970, head football coach Dan Turner and I met with Keith Durham in the football locker room in the old wooden but beloved Gibson gym. We were not impressed with Durham.
Is that the shop teacher?
Keith was coming from the greater Boston area as a junior. He was about 5'9", 180 pounds, and flabby. Slow as cold molasses and out of shape. But he had a great smile, twinkling Irish eyes, and a thirst to learn and to be a part of a team. The old saying, "Don't judge a book by its cover," certainly applied to Keith. His parents, Paul and Helen Durham, knew Keith had potential, but knew also that it was extremely important that a special and unique academic and social environment was found to cultivate his potential. How Mr. and Mrs. Durham found and decided on Fryeburg Academy, I don't know. But I am forever grateful that they did. Fate, the coming together of unusual events, of forces, of personalities, opportunities, is so important in life. In 1969, 70, and 71, Headmaster Philip W. Richards, as we call him PW, and former head coach Joseph Buck Austin hired several young coaches and teachers who would connect with and influence many students throughout their lives, and I think especially Keith. According to Keith, these following mentors were Dan Turner, head football coach; Ken Brown, assistant football coach, history teacher, and dorm parent; Mary Ellen Brown, English teacher, cheering and drama coach, dorm parent; and James Clifford Hobbins, history teacher and character developer. For those who remember Hobby, I believe it was 2 years ago, he retired from the Portsmouth Abbey School. He's still doing well, living with wife Nancy in Rhode Island. During the 2 years Keith was at the Academy from 70 to 72, Fryeburg won the Maine Prep School Football Championship, the Maine Prep School Wrestling Championship, the Maine High School Class B Wrestling Championship, and the New England Class C Prep School Championship. Keith was a 3-time state champion and finished second in the New Englands. As I mentioned, Coach Turner and I were not very excited about Keith's athletic and physical, outward visual appearance. But the following is important to hear and to understand and appreciate Keith. Personal greatness, his personal greatness and success in life. His mental mindset of giving all, never giving up on any situation, or giving up on his peers, or the effort of making something positive out of a difficult situation. He is still doing this today. He is in the hearts and minds of everyone who has come to know him. This brings me to the very special class of 1972, Keith's graduating class. I mentioned the importance of faith and the coming together of different forces. I taught 35 years in high school, and there's always a special group of young people coming together. And the class of 72 was that group for me over those 35 years. I thank and salute the class of 72. Keith went on to earn his teaching degree and master's in special education, and taught and coached for some 31 years in several Greater Boston schools. In '99, I believe, he was inducted into the prestigious Massachusetts chapter of the National Wrestling Hall of Fame. A very difficult and achievement, especially in Massachusetts. I wish to thank Mary Ellen Brown and others who nominated Keith for this induction, and for those who are on the selection committee. I'm honored to present to you the one and only Keith the Bull Durham.
Yeah, Keith.
I try to keep that speech 6 minutes, which is the time of a wrestling match.
You know, it'd be a lot easier just to leave right now. I mean, I couldn't follow up to that. Please bear with me for a moment. I had this in order actually one time this morning. First of all, I want to say good morning to everybody. I also want to take this opportunity to give our condolences to the Gordon family. I know it's a terrific loss, and Mr. Gordon was terrific. He actually got me into Maine Maritime Academy. I don't know how that was a minor miracle. But Mr. Gordon was he was really the unsung hero of the school, because he got over 400 students he had to take care of, get their schedules together, get them into college, you know, get them squared away and everything like that. And I know he probably added a few gray hairs to his hairline. Anyways, I want to first of all thank the people today, this morning at the cafeteria. What a great job they did. The food was fantastic. Second time I've been there, they were wonderful. I also want to thank Dawn Gale for a great job that she's done with this. And also want to thank our honorary class of 72 member, Rachel Andrews-Damons, who's been taking photos here for many years and just doing a great job. I want to thank you all. I'd also like to thank the committee. I want to say thank you very much for the nomination. And I want to congratulate the other recipients as well. My road to Fryeburg Academy, I guess it started at St. James School in Arlington with the nuns of the Religious of Christian Educations. They were a French order. And as you know, I was not in the AP classes, but to put me in a class, we had 48 kids in our class, 6 rows, 8 kids in a row. Sometimes it was only 47 of those rows. There was always one kid that seemed to be sitting beside the nun a good portion of the year. That was me. And I think the only reason I probably got by St. James is my mother used to drive the nuns a lot to different places. I drove them crazy, she drove them to places. But I'd like this opportunity to speak to my parents. I want to thank them for sitting me here. And as I said to my father, I said many times over, I said, Dad, you know what? Net-wise, you made out, because when I was up here for 10 months of the year, you didn't have to feed me. I said, you saved money for 10 months of the year not having to feed me. So that was really good. I went from St. James to Charles River Academy in Cambridge. It was in the central square part of Cambridge. I was just talking to David earlier this morning, and I was right down the street was Mass Ave, and around the corner was Cambridge City Hall, and across the street was the Cambridge Y, and that's where we learned how to wrestle at Charles River Academy. And if you went down Clinton Street, if you took a left, less than a mile was MIT, one of the greatest academic institutions in the country. If you looked to the right, Harvard University was to the right, and all I could think of was I was so close to those universities, but academically I was so far away. And thank goodness that I found Fryeburg Academy. It was really a life changer for me going to Fryeburg Academy. I had the choice of 2 schools. One was the high school in Bath, Maine, and I'd been up there a couple times. I had wrestled there in 1968, and I went up there to a tournament that I won the tournament in 1968, and I probably thought I was going to be going there because I had a good idea. They had football up there, they had wrestling, they had lacrosse, and then I came to Fryeburg Academy. Buck Austin was the one that gave me the introduction, took me around a little bit. Those who probably ever had the interview with Buck, the first question he asked if you were a guy, you play football? That was Buck's always first question. And so I had a choice between the high school in Bath, Maine, and Fryeburg Academy. As I said, the high school had football, they had wrestling, lacrosse, pretty good academic program. But Fryeburg had football, they had wrestling, and they were co-ed. That was the difference. And I think I made the right choice. I want to thank a lot of my classmates. Penny Snow, I always call Penny the girl next door. President, where's our president? Madam President Jamie Bosher is here. She did a great job as president of our class and during this past reunion. Becky Kisman, Melinda Chase, Barbara Ford, Jeannie Sturgis, Jeannie's here. Eddie Quinn, Daryl Smith, just wonderful people. My classmates, my teammates, the late Mike Ross, who we lost way too soon. Craig Arcott, our captain of the wrestling team, and New England champ, state champ, just a great guy. Was the #1 man, a captain of the golf team. And Dale Wilson, Wayne Farrington, Jimmy Eastman, John Garner, Steve West, Earl Bethune, Ike Roberts, Brian Murdoch, Peter Lake. And of course, our favorite couple of all, Gary and Jackie McFarland. Just wonderful people. And to go to school with these people, that was made us an exceptional class. The teachers, Mr. Hobbins, Mr. Hammond, Mr. Kelly. Mr. Kelly was just terrific, and Mr. Hobbins, just wonderful people, and Mr. Hammond, just excellent people. And Mr. White, Mr. Glover, Al Glover, Mr. and Mrs. Buck Austin, Pinky True, as many people have mentioned. Well, I had the Fab Four. Anybody here, how many people grew up during the Beatles around here? Anybody remember the Beatles? Remember they were called the Fab Four? Oh, this is my Fab Four. Coach Woodsome, Coach Turner, Coach Brown, and Mary Ellen Brown. And these people, going Going to Catholic school, you taught, we were told about the guardian angel. I didn't have one, I had 4. These people were always in my corner. They were always there. I could always go to them for whatever I needed, because they were there for me. These folks, they were all in their 20s. I think about that. You know, for me, they'll forever be in their 20s. But they were so young, they were so dedicated, they gave so much to us. If it wasn't for Coach Woodsome, I wouldn't be standing here. I mean, probably, other than my parents, nobody else had more influence than he did. Coach Turner was just a wonderful man, just a great coach. Ken Brown and Mary Ellen Brown were just wonderful. Mary Ellen, what she did, she really enlightened me. I mean, she really got me to read a lot. She got me to be in a one-act play, which I met many wonderful people. It got me out of study hall, too. That wasn't bad. And if I had to use one word as far as describing what Fryeburg meant to me personally, was perseverance. It was that attitude to never give up. And much of that was learned in the wrestling room, on the football field, from the wonderful coaches that I had. It was a great lesson that I had learned. And in my coaching career, I tried to take as much as I learned from coaches Woodsome, Turner, and Brown, and try to implement it as best I could. And it's funny because one of my wrestlers texted me one day and was saying, you know, I'm getting physical therapy. And the lady said to me once, a physical therapist, she says, how come every time I ask you to do 10, why do you do 11? And the reason why that, you can take a guess where that comes from. That came from Coach Woodsome. If he said do 10, it meant 11. 15 meant 16, 30 meant 31. And it was always that idea, you got to do more, you have to do more. And another one of my wrestlers sent me this message. It was, for a moment again. I had it earlier. It was a message he sent me back in this past March. His name was Steve Bird. He was a 2-time state champion. He was a New England finalist. He was actually 62 going the second, finished in the second period, ended up getting beat. But he went to Brown University, an Ivy League school, was starting offensive lineman for them, and had a wonderful career. Went into business and finance and did very well. But he sent me this text. It says, Chu appoints Stephen Birdie as the president of Bids Trading. He sent me a text, excuse me, this is March 25th. It says, hey coach, just wanted to let you know, I landed a new job. It's a career-changing type of role, one that I never would have had the chance to get without the influence like you in my life. Thank you. I was kind of glowing when I first got it, and then I came to the realization. He said, hey, that's great, Stevie, congrats, I'm so proud of you. You paid your dues, when you get knocked down, you got up, and you kept swinging. I also have to give credit to my high school coach, Dave Woodsome. I was fortunate to have him as I've had you. I was in the connection was a connecting point. And that's really what I was through my coaching career, teaching. I just carried the message that I learned from Dave Woodsome, Dan Turner, from Ken Brown, and Mary Ellen Brown. I just carried that message that I got from Fryeburg. Because of Fryeburg, I've worked and met many exceptional people. I had the career that I wanted. Wasn't sure that I could accomplish that, but I did it because of Fryeburg Academy. Without Fryeburg Academy, I never would have met the woman that I married, my best friend, and my wife, Kathy. I am most grateful that I chose Fryeburg Academy. Thank you very much, folks.